Hello and welcome to the Bro Chat for the People podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by a wanted ad. Nemesis required. 6-month project with possibility to extend. I've been trying to think of ways to spice up my life. I'm 35 years old, happily married with 2 kids, and have a good job in insurance. But something is missing. I feel like I'm old before my time. I need to inject some excitement into my daily routine through my arm before it's too late. I need a challenge, something to get my adrenaline pumping again. An addiction would be nice, but in short, I need a nemesis. I'm willing to pay up to $350 up front for your services as an arch enemy over the next 6 months. Nothing crazy. Steal my parking space, knock my coffee over, trip me when I'm running to catch the train, and occasionally whisper in my ear, "Ah, we meet again." That kind of thing. Just keep me on my toes. Complacency will be the death of me. You need to have an evil streak and be blessed with innate guile and cunning. You should also be adept at inconspicuous pursuit. Evil laugh preferred. Send me a photo and a brief explanation on why you would be a good nemesis. Also, British accent preferred. Alright, let's go. Alright, welcome. Tommy boy. We are here with a special guest.
We are indeed. Mr. Longtime Bro Chatter listener.
One of the original Bro Chatters.
It's a pleasure to be here today, boys. Alex Pince here, checking in. Thanks so much for the invitation, and big fan of you guys.
Oh, good.
That's sweet of you to say.
That's really nice, especially from one of our best listeners. You know, it's always good to hear what the people think.
And let me just say that I know that I'm going to say something really controversial today, so I'm just going to say the most controversial thing I can think of to begin, and that's that I'm not an Adele fan. I don't like her music at all.
I don't
at
understand
all?
this.
Really?
At all. See, that's what gets me. Like, yeah, some of Adele's songs can be a little bit annoying, and she's like crying in the background or something. But like, a lot of her music is actually very good, and she has got quite a set of pipes.
Look, I'm sure she's a really nice lady. Her family probably says really good things about her. But look, when her music comes on the radio, I just want to go into a dark room, crawl into the corner, and cry. That's not why I listen to music.
Really?
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, are you sure it's just not because she's overplayed?
She is overplayed.
Like, if she came on every once in a while, or so, you might hear it somewhere, you might think it was a lot better. Maybe?
Do you not like her because she's somewhat overweight, Alex? That's wrong.
No, it has nothing to do with weight. Although it's common knowledge that I do have a general bias against people that may be overweight. No, it's not true. Adele, she's a wonderful lady. Let's leave it at that.
Well, we don't know whether she's a wonderful lady. We're just defending her music.
Yeah.
She could be a terrible person. She sounds like a terrible person. She's a stalker, and she's trying to come back and ruin someone's marriage after a while.
You mean her music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way she talks about herself, she sounds like a terrible person.
And yet she's popular, which means a lot of people can relate to her songs, which means a lot of people.
And she's got a nice voice.
She does have a nice voice. See, that's the thing.
When you talk about terrible, though, I mean, she can't be any worse than Justin Bieber. Let's just throw that out there.
All right, that's fine, yeah. Justin Bieber.
No arguments here.
The soccer ball kicking, getting kicked out of the Vatican pop star that we all know and love.
Yeah. Getting kicked out of the Vatican is a singular honor.
Unless you're, the Nazis back in World War II or something.
All right, so we've had some guests on. We had some interesting sports, trying to get all the cover all our bases for all our sports fans.
Yes, yes.
Our friend Alex here is a vigilant tennis fan.
Some would call him an expert on the comings and goings of tennis players and matches.
He's known to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning just to watch a
Leighton
semifinals Leighton Hewitt game.
Well, it's been a while since Leighton Hewitt was in the semifinals of anything. But
thank you for the Leighton Hewitt shout out.
He is now retired officially, is he not?
He is.
Must have been a sad day.
It was brutal. I was laying in my bed at 4 a.m., just tears coming down my cheeks.
Were they actually? Did you actually shed a tear, Alex? Because I'm asking because a lot of people might say there's no way he was actually crying, but I know that there's a possibility that you could have been crying. Just a little bit.
I'm going to leave that to the imagination of the listener. But
maybe they welled up a little bit.
I think so. And
didn't actually separate from the eye.
There have been some heart-wrenching defeats as a Lleyton Hewitt fan. It's been a brutal, brutal run. What's fascinating about it is that he's now the Davis Cup captain for Australia, and they had a recent round match against America, the US of A, recently, and Nick Kyrgios, one of their players, came down with the flu, and so they were wondering, is Lleyton Hewitt going to step in and play and replace him? He ended up getting someone else.
Oh.
But there were articles. It was all over. Lleyton Hewitt actually isn't retired. He will still keep fighting.
Oh my gosh! You can't put him down. Oh man.
So, I mean, I'm a casual tennis fan. I love Djokovic. I hate Nadal. I hate Murray, and I used to like Federer.
Of those four, Murray's my favorite.
What's going on with these guys? I mean, is Federer even still alive and kicking, or?
It's interesting because a lot of people are saying Federer was going to be done, 2-3 years ago, and he had a resurgence. He had one bad season in 2013, but Federer's standing.
He's still top ranked, right?
Yeah, I believe he's number 2 right now. Number 3.
The man is incredible.
I mean, he was the top during Tiger Woods also being at the top, and now Tiger Woods is a cripple.
He had better days,
and he doesn't have any hair left. So
the poor guy. But I mean, the Djokovic, Federer, Murray, and Nadal, top 4 have dominated tennis for the better part of the last century.
Does Murray really deserve to be in that group?
And that's a fair question.
He won a major, right?
He won a major. The rest of them have
he also won Olympic gold.
At least.
He won Olympic gold when it was in London. It was a big deal.
And
he's been in the top 5 routinely for the last year.
But still,
years.
Yes. And he's been in that category, made quite a few finals, semifinals, but let's just run through some statistics. Federer, 17 Grand Slam victories. Nadal, 14. Djokovic, 9. Murray, 2.
And Djokovic is...
And Grand Slams are really the only thing that matter.
That's true. And Djokovic
it's like
is
the majors.
Djokovic is going to win a lot more, too.
Yeah,
he's only got 9 right now.
Yeah.
He's the young one of the group.
Well,
I guess Murray, too.
Now, who do you think was shanked the most by having all 3 of these players at the same time? If Nadal had been young and coming up now, would he have been able to just destroy everyone? But the fact that he had to play Nadal or Federer, how many finals did he lose to Federer, kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. And Nadal actually was the one who stymied Federer's incredible run. So Nadal came around, and Federer he just
Federer
beat him in a number of
French
French Open
right?
finals.
Yeah, Nadal was killer on the clay.
Right. So Nadal has an absurd amount of French Open wins. I think it's 9 right now. He's only lost 2 times ever at the French Open. And so Federer has the all-time number of Grand Slam wins. Again, like Tom mentioned, Grand Slams are just really the pinnacle tournament. There are 4 of them in 1 year, like the majors.
Yeah.
And if Nadal had not come around...
That's why it's a Grand Slam.
Federer...
4 runs.
If Nadal had not come around, Federer would be, in the mid-20s, I think. It would just be an insane amount.
So do you think maybe, kind of moving over, since we are Americans, United States citizens, law-abiding and productive, do you think... do you think somebody who really paid with the rise of Federer and Nadal in his prime would be someone like Andy Roddick?
Absolutely.
Because he's only got he's got 1 U.S. Open, that's it?
Yeah, he was.
Even though he was a top-notch tennis player, but then he obviously could never get over the hump of Nadal or Federer.
And lost to Federer and Nadal in just so many quarterfinals, semifinals. Mm-hmm. Roddick's a guy who would have had, I think, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But only 1.
Hewitt probably would have had more, too.
Yep. There was a gap there. You had Hewitt, you had Roddick, just awesome American tennis player. You had Marat Safin back in the day. And there was this period where, the game was changing, it was developing, where technology was allowing players to hit the ball with just more power, more control. The strings had a lot to do with that. And Federer was on the cusp of that change. And so he took advantage of that, that development in the tennis game, and props to him for that. Guys like Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, to even catch Federer have just had to come along and adapt.
So what's the, speaking of Americans, what's the state of the American Tennis Association, or whatever it's called?
U.S.
Yeah, the U.S. tennis game, let me say, Andy Roddick, the last time he won Grand Slam, the only Grand Slam he won, is in 2003. So we've had 13 years without a Grand Slam on.
James Blake was good for a couple years. I think he was ranked at number 9 at one point.
Yeah, quite a few good runs for James Blake. But
oh gosh.
The state of the game, we've had just such futility. It's really sad. And
it is sad. Ever since the dominance of Sampras in the 90s and Agassi in the 90s and early 2000s, and then you just.
But I mean, we do
drought.
have the Williams sisters.
We do.
That's true.
Who are still.
Which, by the way, how
dominant.
many Grand Slams does Serena have? Over 20 now. Like, that woman is insane.
Yeah, it's
I think she's 2 behind the all-time leader. Maybe I think she has 21. It was some. I don't know, some woman.
Graf or
no, it's not Graf. It's some other woman I've never heard of. I was shocked when I saw it.
Billie Jean King or whatever her name is.
No. I don't know. Alex would probably know her, but I have no idea. As a casual fan, I think she's older. But I mean, like, what does that say? Like, what's changed in the? Is it just like all the kids are going somewhere else, and it's this white privilege sport that no one wants to play anymore?
I have a theory about just it's become like a largely international game. I mean, like Djokovic coming from Serbia. To me, it's like a privilege thing. The guys that are coming along are given everything from a young age. They're given all the best lessons, all the best coaches, and training and whatever. And so mentally, when it comes down to it in the tough moments, I think the U.S. guys just don't have what it takes. Compared to like guys like Djokovic who grew up training in a swimming pool, as their court. Guys that just want it so badly, that don't have that privilege, I guess, and funding from a young age. And a lot of the problem is like, okay, so Donald Young is an African-American American tennis player who's been in the middle rankings, hanging around 50 for the better part of his career. He's from Georgia, and he was touted to be like the next best American star. But after he won maybe one significant tournament when he was young, the United States Tennis Association took him under his wing, got rid of his old coach, and he was just given a Hummer and he thought that was just the best thing, and he was satisfied with that. That was all he needed, and then the work ethic stopped, and that's where he hung.
I remember you and I went to see him at the Sony Ericsson in it's not still the Sony Ericsson, but in Miami.
Yeah, the Miami
Open. Yeah, we saw Donald Young, and I remember you talking to me about this then, and that was 5 years ago now.
Mm-hmm. But the exciting thing for American tennis now is there are 3 guys that I want to mention. I'm not going to get into it too much. Taylor Fritz, Gerald Donaldson, and Francis Tiafoe. And Taylor Fritz is 80 in the world. He was last year outside the top 200. This guy is someone to watch, and you're hearing it first from me on Bro Chat for the People. He will be the next American to win a Grand Slam.
Is that what you said about Sam Querrey?
No, I never was on the same.
And Harrison? You loved Harrison.
That was Teddy. Teddy, my brother, yeah. But I'm telling you right now, Taylor Fritz, he's going to be there.
Okay, so
that's good to have
that's I mean, that's the positive looking forward towards tennis, and the game's. Well, I'm still kind of unconvinced whether it's actually a good thing, whether it's been good for the game to have these 3 players just completely dominate the sport recently. I mean, you always just see the Federer, Nadal Djokovic or Federer Djokovic, finals. And I mean, it's cool like that they're the top, but the fact that it happens like 5 times a year kind of might actually be hurting the game and its popularity. But that aside, we've had some scandals recently in tennis.
Yeah, it's been brutal.
I think the less surprising one to me is the fact that Maria Sharapova failed a drug test recently.
That's less surprising than the bribes?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, everyone does steroids. And
everyone takes bribes too.
But I mean, like this stuff doesn't happen all the time.
That's
I mean, you
true.
see all the time, like like there was someone today who failed a drug test, Kimbo Slice or whatever.
Kimbo Slice failed a drug test yesterday. It's true.
Like these stories happen all the time. Like like Peyton Manning, the HGH, but let's not talk about that because the NFL doesn't want us to.
It's true.
I do what I'm told.
So I mean, but she's a pretty big star, and she's been kind of idolized, because she's pretty.
Oh, definitely.
Also, she's a good tennis player.
Eh.
She's got some Grand Slams under her belt.
She has like 2.
5.
5.
Slap.
I mean, compared to the 20 of Serena. 2
Okay,
and 5
by the way,
doesn't mean
that is
speaking of
fair.
which, I just looked this up. 21 Grand Slams for Serena. Singles Grand Slams. And 13 doubles. That's 34. That's insanity.
Mm-hmm.
She's been a pro for 20 years since she was 14. And so like 34 Grand Slam titles. Doubles and singles. And the woman she first went number 1 in 2002. And when she was, I guess that makes her 21 or something. And then she's still number 1 in 2016.
She's not 34 yet, is she?
She's 34.
Okay, so she has won 1 Grand Slam for every year of her life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. But, Alex, how about you tell us about the other scandal in tennis?
The Sharapova scandal?
No, the other one.
Okay. Well, recently, tennis has been under scrutiny, a big black mark at the start of this year. And it's really too bad because tennis has always, at least in my mind, had been able to stay away from the scandals and the guys like Federer.
From what you've heard, yes. From what the media covers.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I only read what the media covers. I don't have direct insight. But now tennis is under scrutiny for fixing matches, and this came about ironically. There was an unusual amount of money put on a mixed doubles match. That's when a guy and a girl play together, and no one ever pays attention to that at all. Like those matches,
I don't think I've ever seen one.
no, they're never
I've seen
televised.
one for a charity match.
It's just kind of fun.
John McEnroe was playing with somebody. And
Right.
It was like, oh, this is for charity. It was on Fox Sports 1 or something.
So the fact that you could be able to even bet on one of those matches is pretty out there. You have no idea what's going to happen. So they see this unusual amount, draws the attention of, the folks that monitor that sort of thing, and now it's under investigation.
The TIU, the Tennis Integrity Unit.
Okay.
And people, before the Australian, this year, people were talking about Djokovic people trying to bribe Djokovic and him saying no.
Yeah, he had said that,
Yeah.
The people tried to come and bribe him. So, is this...
It's crazy.
This is pretty serious. Fixing matches in tennis. They even had something like 20 out of the top 50 players were involved in it.
20 out of the top 50?
Yeah.
See, because I thought that...
That was what the TIU, the Tennis Integrity Unit that was created, found out.
It's crazy, man.
That's insane. I thought that it would be something that would affect the lower ranking players that didn't make that much money.
Yeah.
And sure, it doesn't matter, I need to
they're approaching, the top ranked player in the world asking him to do this.
Or according to Djokovic, he says that people came to him and asked him to throw the match, the Australian Open final or whatever.
So and he makes so much money he can say no because it's more important to him to have his reputation. But those people who are down there, you're 25th in the world, and you might get tennis matches every once in a while on television or whatever if you're facing a good player. But they offer you a couple $1 million to, just go out in the the
Go out in
whatever.
the third.
It's and it's
I mean, that's what this is like. This is like boxing. Like, this is something that boxing has dealt with for ages.
And this is fixing matches just to illustrate that this is actually deciding who's going to win the match. This isn't just betting on yourself or betting on your opponent. Well, betting on your opponent is fixing the match, but betting on yourself, like Pete Rose was doing. And Pete Rose has been banned from baseball for life.
But let me draw your attention to this. Tennis only created an anti-corruption rule, like anything against gambling, fixing matches, in 2009. So this could have been going on for years.
Yeah.
It probably has been. I mean, just knowing the nature of person and the nature of sports, it probably has been going on for years.
Do you think Federer paid people to let him win?
Ooh. That's the kind of speculation we like here.
I mean, we here at Bro Chat for the People aren't big on speculating, but, every once in a while it seems fitting.
I think it has. Well, I don't think it's players. It has to do more with, with those gambling
nut
people.
jobs in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and
And
criminals who are organized crime people and stuff like that.
All those, all those Peaky Blinders in Birmingham.
The interesting part about it is that all the people that were suspected or proven to have done this were not punished at all.
And that's, tennis protects its own. It does. Like, even if Rafa was to come under some, like, doping scandal, like, I don't know if tennis would bring that out.
Yeah.
Again, it's separate agencies, like the World Anti-Doping Agency is what brought to light Maria Sharapova's thing.
Yeah.
And if I can talk about that just for a second,
Please.
let me just say that I think
She
the entire
She's not enough.
the entire thing is just insane. Maria Sharapova got an email on December 22nd, and this is coming from her sources, that she got an email on December 22nd. What happens around that time of year? Christmas. You're in the holiday spirit. Jingle bells. And she didn't open up the email.
Of course,
And
with
she
family.
tests positive for this drug that she's taken for 10 years, meldonium, which she didn't even realize it was meldonium. It was a similar name as meldronate or something, and that's what she thought it was.
She said she thought it was.
Yes, fair.
I mean, it's always hard for me to believe professional athletes when they say they don't know what they're putting in their bodies.
It's always hard for me to not believe pretty women saying things to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm going to listen to whatever you say. You're so weak, Tom. You're weak. Anyway, please continue.
She tests positive at the Australian Open, which is the third week of January.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much right after. So, like, the fact that she didn't open up that email, I think is plausible. How many emails does she get? And the World Anti-Doping Agency says they sent 4 communications. She claims she only received 1, which was the email. Even if they had sent a letter to her of some kind, she's probably, over in Australia preparing for the Australian Open. How many homes does she have, and where does her mail get sent? I don't know. But I'm erring on the side that Maria Sharapova is being unfairly treated by journalists, and it's just this tendency.
Just like Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's the tendency to take down someone when they're on top.
It is. Americans do that so much. And humans do that so much. It's kind of a despicable characteristic.
It is.
Like,
I'm
so jealous of you.
And she's the most highly paid female athlete.
Really?
She is.
She's higher paid than
with all her endorsements.
Dude.
Yeah.
She's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think. There's not all that many female athletes I can actually think of. We got the tennis players like Serena and Venus. Got Abby Wambach and some of those soccer players.
Alex Morgan.
She
scored a kick-ass goal the other day. She tapped it over the defender's head and then kicked it without it even hitting the ground. It was awesome. Anyway.
Nice. So what do you in the next 50 years do you think tennis will be even more popular, or do you think it'll just be kind of underground, if not dead?
Well, internationally.
I mean in the United States.
Oh, okay.
In the United States, I just see it kind of the status quo. Like, I don't see it the way it was, like, in the 80s and 90s with, like, it was dominated heavily. Like, the top 100, it was, like, half of them were Americans, like, in the 70s and 80s. Like, I just don't think that there's...
Then we fell in love with contact sports. Oh, football's so much more fun.
Well, football has its problems of its own with all the concussions. We'll see if that heads down the road of boxing. But
yeah, I mean, the funny thing about tennis and these scandals is I don't think it... Like, I watch tennis casually, and I will continue to watch tennis casually. It really doesn't have... Like, maybe they know they didn't punish any of these people and suspend them or just, like, kick them out for life because they know that people are just going to forget and not care. Mm.
And that's another tendency we see in society. We getting, outraged about the, dessert of the week or whatever you want to say.
Exactly. Like the 24-hour American news cycle, as people like to call it.
Right.
Yep.
Speaking of which, is that a perfect segue into today, or what happened to that thing since we forgot about it?
What happened to that thing since we stopped caring about it?
That's what it is.
And what do we have today that people have forgotten about, Daniel?
Oh, well, first of all, not really that big of an issue in the beginning, in the first place, but a lot of people really freaked out about it. But Cecil the Lion. Cecil the Lion.
I like Cecil. Cecil sounds weird.
What about Cecil Fielder, Prince's dad?
Cecil.
I'm pretty sure it's Cecil.
Nope. I like Cecil.
Cecil Fielder, and I mean Cecil the Lion. Well, that's funny because Cecil Fielder was a tiger at one point. Cecil the Lion. He, the famous 13-year-old lion, head of his pride in Zimbabwean, National Reserve or whatever for wildlife reserve. He was shot and killed with a bow and arrow by one Walter Palmer, the now infamous dentist. What's happened to that since we stopped caring?
His practice has gone down the shitter.
His practice.
He has a 1-star on Yelp.
He has a 1-star rating on Yelp.
The poor guy,
which is really funny because he was probably a great dentist to begin with. Because first of all, he had. I don't know if he still does. No, he still does. He's still trying to pay all his employees, but he. Because I was just reading about this, but he's got this big practice in Minneapolis, and he paid £35,000 to go on this hunting trip, and so since he killed him and all the outrage, the Zimbabwean government has said he's not at fault at all. All his hunting licenses were in order, and the people at fault were the 2 Zimbabwean guides because they told him that he could kill the lion in that in the reserve or whatever. How is Walter Palmer supposed to know where he is? It's his first time, or not his first time, but he's out in Africa. He doesn't know where he's in Zimbabwe on some safari, like killing a lion. Like why? Of course, he doesn't know what's protected and what's not. Like, so the 2 Zimbabwean guys who were with him have been fined or something, and then probably are serving jail time. I'm not sure.
Probably just slap him the wrist. This is Zimbabwe we're talking about. This isn't the American government run by the EPA and PETA.
Look, I don't even think in Zimbabwe they care.
They didn't care about it at all. Everyone, I remember
they
somebody
didn't care about it at all. The only people who cared about were PETA in America, and people like crazy people, literally crazy people, who were calling for if this Walter Palmer killed this lion unjustly. Now, then he started, Walter Palmer, a human being, started receiving death threats like, I'm going to kill you for killing a lion. A fat, lazy lion that sleeps 3/4 of the day, has his whores go out and bring him food, eats his fill, and then lets them have the scraps.
Chauvinist pig.
He's a chauvinist pig and he deserved to die.
Why do we care about lions so much? Let me just put a plug for cheetahs in here. These beautiful creatures that really reach for the transcendent. They point to something greater. These beasts can reach speeds of 70 miles an hour. 60 in 3 seconds.
60 in 3 seconds? That's faster than a Mustang!
Their spine
a Ford Mustang, not a horse.
So where's all the news about cheetahs?
Nobody gives a shit about cheetahs because they don't live in prides and they aren't quite as majestic looking.
And I don't think they get shot as often.
Probably
They're
not because
lazy.
they're so fast. They're not lazy. They're just lying around all the time, waiting for their women to bring them food. Like, we here in America hate the stereotype of a guy turning to his wife or something, or his girlfriend, and saying, "Make me a sandwich." That's literally what lions do. Where's the outrage? Anyway, that's what happened to that thing since we stopped caring about it.
But we do care.
We care. We care about Walter Palmer and being able to support his family and all the people he employs who rely on him for running a solid practice.
We should convince him to move to Naples and then use him as our dentist.
Because there's no way I'm moving to Minneapolis.
No way.
I mean, he's got to want to move to Naples instead of Minneapolis.
Yeah, he could be a rich dentist.
Yeah, he's a middle-aged guy. He's a couple years away from moving down here. Everybody does.
He's got to hit like 48, I think, and then he can justify moving down here.
Heaven's waiting room. You're 48. You got to be ready for death. It's the next step.
Hey, if you go on safaris, you should be ready.
I would love to go on a safari, actually. I think
be
Africa
fun.
would be a really cool place to visit. Certain parts of Africa.
You just want to put on the tan outfit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Steve Irwin. I'm in the Nile catching crocodiles. I'm so sad that he's dead. And he's been dead for 10 years now. I'm still so sad about it. I miss the crocodile hunter. No one could compare it. As far as wildlife TV shows and stuff like that go, like we've got River Monsters, dude. Oh, I'm catching a big fish today. No one compares to the crocodile hunter. Oh, man.
I'm trying to figure out how to segue into
unsurprising.
Speaking of crocodiles and hunting, Alex went to Alex has a story to share with us.
Oh,
about
that's right.
His experience.
Well, why don't you just go ahead and tell us about what happened?
A recent experience that you had in Miami, I believe it was.
It was Miami. Yeah. My friend, his dad was in town on business, and his dad was staying at Trump National in Doral, Miami.
Great place.
Wonderful, wonderful place. And so we went over there, and I just wanted to talk about what it was like, the experience that I had. And going into that place, it was like a mixture of just the architecture, like seeing something in Rome, Las Vegas, and something from The Great Gatsby.
Okay.
It was just like so opulent and decadent. Like I was like, this is like the Sun King, Louis XIV. Like every corner you turned, you saw Trump's face on the wall, whether it's in a Time magazine or something. And the longer I spent in that hotel, like I felt myself becoming someone else. My inner core was changing. My essence was becoming something else, and I just wanted to lash out at somebody. Like I felt like I was becoming more superior than everyone else in the hotel. And when the waiter came up to me and asked me what drink I wanted, I wanted to be like, "You, sir, are just a complete lazy. Why are you a waiter and you don't have any skills? Like I'm better than you." But it was the whole like
I'm a seminarian at the Diocese of Venice. I'm better than you.
Like I felt myself like it was just seeping into me. And so then we walked out to the 18th hole, and we saw a landing spot for Trump's helicopter. Like in the middle of the lake, the 18th hole is a place for his helicopter to land. And it was there earlier in the day, but it was gone when we went there. We're walking back, and there's this massive American flag, like bigger than anything I've ever seen.
Bigger than anything you've ever seen.
No, I'm speaking in Trump language.
Bigger than the hotel itself? I mean,
It was a big flag.
Yeah, fair
Like,
enough.
everything needs to be bigger at Trump National.
Maybe he's compensating for
Okay,
something.
no, this is
Like
clear.
Rubio said.
This is clearly a case of he's like Trump is that douche who drives a gigantic Hummer that's all souped up, and you're like, okay, you must have a small penis. Excuse me.
It's like, it made me think, do you ever wonder why at car dealerships there are so many American flags in a row? It's like, if you're supporting your favorite team, do you wear like 9 jerseys on top of each other?
Well, I guess if you're driving by the dealership, it might be hard to see one flag.
Salesmanship.
True that.
Yeah, let's put
We're patriotic. Buy cars from us.
80 flags in front of my dealership. The guy down the road only has 60.
He hates America. Yeah, he's also the Honda dealership. This is the Chevy dealership.
So, needless to say, there's like this fountain in the middle of like the putting green that had like a bunch of lions and like it was this Roman
Those gold lion
architecture.
statues, like, yeah.
And I'm studying Roman history right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me think of this Roman emperor named Caligula
Oh yeah.
in the 1st century AD,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy saw himself as a god.
Yeah.
You know, he was insane, but he thought he was a god, and I was like, okay, maybe there's some like correlation with Trump here. I'm not saying he's insane, but this guy was, and like
We can say he's insane.
Well, maybe a little bit. You know, we here at Bro Chat for the People like to bring you straight talk
For the people.
for the people, the really psychotic people.
So Caligula's insane. He's killing people to just for the fun of it, you know, to incite fear in, you know, him, how tyrants do it. And in the middle of the night, he calls 2 senators to come to his home, and they're thinking, "Oh, damn, we're gonna get killed." So they come to his house.
Oh, damn.
That's exactly what they said in that tone of voice, too. They come to his house, and he's dressed up as a ballerina and starts dancing.
Okay.
Just because he could. And because he's thinking these guys are like...
Just
You know-
because he could.
So, Donald Trump, you know, he might be dressed up as a ballerina when he's president.
That's the takeaway. Oh, man. Thank you for that ammunition.
I mean, I could see that, kind of. I don't know if it'd be ballerina, but I could see him in his office dancing like in South Park. Dun, 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 dun,
Exactly.
dun, dun, dun.
When he's the Prime Minister of Canada.
We didn't know. We thought it was a joke. We thought it was funny at first, and then we let the joke go for too long. And then he was the Prime Minister.
South Park, such wonderful social commentary.
It is actually, and then the funny thing about South Park is that then they all moved down to America. And recently, after one of the most recent elections, the Google reported that they had more searches for how to move to Canada than ever before.
Yeah.
And it was like a dramatic spike.
Well, South Park predicted this back in October or whatever it was when that episode came out.
They did. So depressing.
It is depressing. And if you could stomach the crass, vulgar, you know, vulgarness, obscenities of South Park, then you really should watch it because it's quite amazing.
You know, I actually think this is a perfect segue into our one of our newest segments, the Positive Spin Zone,
The Positive Spin Zone.
where we'll give each other troubling news, and we have to find the silver lining in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's a perfect segue is because my little bit of news for Daniel is that Trump is leading by, on average, 14.5 points in Florida.
Oh, jeez.
What's the positive spin, Daniel?
Well, it's become clear to me now. The positive spin is, well, several things. Because I can't spin it into a positive light in regards to the primary. I don't know how. So I'm just going to say, when Trump wins the presidency, when he beats Hillary Clinton, when he beats Hillary Clinton, When he beats Hillary Clinton and he goes to the White House, he's going to turn the White House into one of the most opulent, ostentatious White Houses you've ever seen in your life. Gold lions. He's going to have a golf course in the backyard. He's going to buy all the land around the White House with eminent domain and turn it all into a big golf course. And then the other thing is, and it's just going to look great. It's just going to look great. And then the other thing is, the First Lady, Melania, his wife.
I don't know.
The former model, which I guess is an occupation somehow. The occupation former model. She is just going to be absolutely fabulous as the First Lady and just looks so glamorous all the time.
All right.
Is that positive? Is that a good thing?
I don't know if that's the silver lining of this story. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he could have said something like, apparently he follows through on his threats of just destroying Rubio in Florida. And he's an honest guy.
I don't think that's a good thing, though. That's not positive at all. Maybe to you it's positive.
He's honest. He told everybody he was going to win, and we were going to get tired of him winning. And we are.
True. We are tired of him winning.
All right, Danny.
Oh, Tom.
Hit me with mine.
Have I got a doozy for you? Basically, the headline here from the esteemed Boston Herald is Tom Brady takes a hard hit in fiery Deflategate hearing. Hard hit. A lot of people have come out and said that after witnessing the hearing and hearing the hearing are saying that the odds are in the NFL's favor now.
I love you, Tom. I love you.
And saying that Tom Brady his 4-game suspension will be put back in place.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
I thought of something.
I'm ready.
I thought of the silver lining here.
All right.
First, I'll take you back to last year. This last offseason was the most turbulent offseason for Tom Brady ever.
Yeah.
And one of the most turbulent off seasons for any star in the league. And he came out and he just played so angry, and he was so good, and he was so driven.
Did it seem like he got tired towards the end of the year?
I mean, the guy's 39. I don't think I don't think I don't think that he got tired. Okay. I think it was just a matter of the Broncos defense outplaying them. I mean, like we killed the Chiefs, and we had a lot of injuries. The offensive line was destroyed. I mean, there's only so much one man can do. So my silver lining for this year is, even if he gets the 4-game suspension, he is going to come out so even angrier than last year, and he will win Super Bowl 51.
So
because of this.
So what you're saying is we should hope he gets suspended for 4 games.
Yes.
Plus we don't think he got tired, but if he did get tired, he'll have those 4 weeks off.
Exactly. This is like classic Peyton Manning. He had like 6 weeks off in the middle of the season.
It's only going to be a 12-week season.
There's your silver lining, Daniel.
That's very good. That's very good.
So long as he doesn't go.
In fact, that's such a good silver lining, Tom, that I want it to happen right now.
I want this terrible news.
That's not silver lining. That's gold lining.
That's worth at least $1,500 an ounce.
All right.
Oh man.
Coming to the end of the podcast here, guys. We got any stories our guest wants to share? Anything?
Well, there are. Wow, that's an open-ended question. That's quite a bit. I will say this. As a seminarian, it's my first year in seminary, and lots of great experiences. Let me just say, it's an exciting time for the church, and I'm very excited to be a part of it.
I've been hearing that line since I was born. It's a very exciting time for the church.
I don't know if that's true, considering the type of stuff that happened. I don't think you've been hearing that.
Okay.
Before.
I heard it all through the 90s, and then in 99 to 2003, I didn't hear it at all. And then after that, I started hearing it again. It's a very exciting time for the church.
Anyway.
And that's just because of, my experience so far has been great. And I think that I have been in my seminary in Miami, actually, a little bit of a conflicting figure. Actually,
Because you're older?
no, it's not so much that. I've created this kind of two factions in the seminary.
You've started a civil war at your seminary. Yes, it has been glorious.
And like I've always said, you need to have conflict.
The Nemesis ad was you.
That was me in
Did you start a bro faction? Is that what's going on here?
I have started a pro-bathroom humor, anti-bathroom humor factions at the seminary.
So sometimes you feel like you're pro, and sometimes you feel like you're anti.
I'm always anti.
Oh, really?
And this began, I'm
That's surprising to me.
fair. I'm not prudish when it comes to this sort of thing, but it was 1 week in particular. It was 3 times at dinner each day, where
That's the worst time.
yeah, I'm trying to enjoy some guacamole and Cuban beans and everything. Look, it just got to the point where it was too much, and someone was describing how he had done the Wings Challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings and the results of that, where I just said, this is too much. And every night at seminary, there's announcements made. There's a microphone, and people go up and make announcements. I had never made an announcement before, and so I'm standing there like the last guy in line, and people are thinking like, okay, this guy is announcing that he's going to leave seminary. He's standing there, he's like really like kind of angry. He's like really sullen, and he's in the back of the line. And
Have people done that? Announced that they're leaving?
usually that's when it happens, yeah.
Yeah,
If they're
okay.
leaving, they'll make an announcement at dinner.
Okay.
And so it comes to me, and I'm just like, guys, enough of the shit talk. We need to end this now. And I walk away, and afterward, guys are like coming up to me like, thank you, like that needed to be said. Other guys are like, you have no idea what you just did.
The war that you just started.
But it is true. It's just a bunch of dudes living together, so, be that as it may, there are certain things that come with that. It's a reality. And where do we go from here? I'll leave that to you to think.
I'll leave that to the seminarians at
St. John Vianney.
St. John Vianney in Miami, Florida.
Interesting. I'm intrigued.
Make your choice.
You might have to figure out how to maybe just push. You're gonna have to push the other faction out. That might what it comes to.
Alex, you got to turn into Frank Underwood straight up. Just destroy them. Murder somebody if you have to.
I'm more about changing hearts. We can change hearts and change minds.
Jeez.
We can make a lot of progress here, guys. We just gotta unify, Gosh, how many good stories do we have, Dan? I mean, we gotta share something
From when?
from
Ave Maria?
back in Ave Maria time.
Ave Maria times. I know I have one that John DeMasti won't appreciate. 4 minutes. All right. Well, how about this instead? Today in Unsurprising Headlines. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Hop on to Today in Unsurprising Headlines. Obama is making the case that the government should have access to all mobile device data. All mobile device data. To prevent terror attacks. ... and enforce tax laws. It's funny how he says and enforce tax laws at the end, as if that's part of the public conversation at all.
What? Enforce tax laws?
Seriously? Well, you're gonna get you want all the everything, like you were saying, everything is on your phone, and you're gonna be like, oh, this guy's hiding assets. Let's stick the IRS on him. Oh, just kidding. We were searching for a terror attack, or we thought you might have been connected to terror. All 330 million citizens of the United States. So we just took all of your mobile device data, and there's a lot of back taxes that you guys owe.
I mean, didn't Bush get just destroyed for what?
The Patriot Act?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
this
is
goes so
worse.
far beyond that, and nothing. Nobody hears a thing. This was on like California Yahoo, like specifically, like Yahoo.ca.com. Like nobody sees this article, and nobody cares that he said it. Because that's how far we've come in the past 15 years. Even from the Clinton administration. Bill Clinton, when he was president, would never have dreamed of saying something like that.
Nope.
Even if there were mobile devices like we have now.
But can I pose a philosophical question to you guys?
Please do.
I know that you guys, you're academics. You might
We are so far from academics.
you put on the impression here that you're just strictly about sports and politics, but I know that you guys get into the literature and the finer arts, and let me just say that these guys
we like to be well-rounded.
can think well. So, are we the best generation that has ever lived? That's something that I hear frequently from people in our millennials.
Well, we're not the worst.
We're definitely not the worst, which is an argument that is also made often.
That millennials are the worst generation.
I don't think. I don't know. As far as just like morality and stuff, or just like, I mean, we're definitely like the most educated, the most technologically advanced. We're like the most of a lot of things that are just kind of like the nature of the times. But I mean, I think, are you asking about morality?
It is a moral perspective.
Then no, I mean, I don't think.
It depends.
Like we don't have
issue.
we don't have the same sense of community and duty to the rest of mankind. I mean, like I totally get on board with the whole generation that went and fought in World War II, like the greatest generation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many young men that just signed up and went and died in Germany, or England, or France,
or the Pacific,
or the Pacific,
or died of trench.
Like how many people? How many of the people in our generation would actually sign up and do that? I mean, I probably wouldn't even.
There are. It's a very self-focused society.
I didn't quit. I was 4 years. Contract's up. All right, time to go, guys. Tom's take. Tom doesn't like people who hate on millennials. All right, let's go. Brought to you by the Washington Bullets. Anything else? Any parting words?
You guys rock. I'm going to keep listening.
Hey, thanks for coming.
I want to make it. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Shout out to my mother, obviously.
Does she listen?
No, but she will after this.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Another listener. That's
nice.
That's
Get her to subscribe.
2% of our vieurship, right there.
We need. You guys need to work on the women population.
We do need to work on that. Doing my best, okay?
Also, a shout out to Colby Popick and the God Bods workout. If you guys want to get absolutely cut, ripped in less than 6 weeks, contact Colby Popick. The man is a legend in his field.
And so ripped.
Great to be with you guys. Thanks.
All right.
We love you, Colby.
We love you, Colby.
Keep listening to us, Colby.
And we enjoy making your work, school, or baby day that much more enjoyable.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday after the elections.
Peace.
And we'll be depressed. Peace.